Hi, and welcome to the VetStory Podcast, home to the most outrageous stories told in vet med. It's raw, it's unfiltered, unscripted, unedited, just raw, off-the-cuff stories. I'm your host, Rhys, and if you're in the vet med space in any capacity, and you have a story like this, I want to hear it. So get ready to have a laugh, eyes on the road if you're driving, or close the doors to your office. Sit back and enjoy the show. And we are back with another episode. I'm joined today with Alex Contreras.
How you doing today, buddy? So good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Tell the audience or the listeners a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Where you come from? Give me a history. Tell me who Alex is.
Alexander Contreras, the president and founder of Pet Trio Charity, as well as the inventor and the creator of the Clip Trio. Basically, my story is a veterinary technician. The last 20 years here in South Florida in Miami. Recently turned entrepreneur with the creation of Clip Trio, and more importantly, the passion that I have for Pet Trio Charity. And main mission is to make sure that the industry knows that value the technicians out there, whether you're an assistant or a veterinarian technician. There's a lot more to us than meets the eye. Obviously, me being the inventor now, me being this philanthropist, it just lets us know that there's a myriad of possibilities in the profession where we're not just assistants and we're not just technicians. We can also be these innovators and these entrepreneurs as well.
More about that. So you started as a technician, registered technician or a technician? I know there's two different things over in the States.
Yeah, so on paper, they call a on-the-job trained technician. Obviously, I got my veterinary assistant diploma through Penn, which was an online EDU. And I was just fortunate enough, guys, that at the time of my, of my upbringing or getting introduced into this profession at 18, I was fortunate enough that the doctors there took a real liking to me, and they literally just trained me and educated me on the processes of how to become a technician. I attended courses to get the CE credits, but I never applied it to a license because I was already getting trained. I was already immersed in that profession. So on paper, I'm an on-the-job trained technician / veterinarian assistant, but I like to just call myself the jack of all trades now that I'm this entrepreneur and philanthropist with the background as a technician.
So how long were you a technician for?
20 years into this profession. Like I mentioned, I got in when I was 18. I literally just turned 39 this past. And I loved it. Again, I attribute that to my upbringing. I was exposed to veterinary medicine at a young age, especially watching the Animal Planet. In particular, this one that really struck a chord with me was called Emergency Vets. And it was literally just a camera crew following the day-to-day activities of a technician in an animal hospital setting. And at 8 years old, I was fixated in my mindset that this is something that I wanted to obtain. I had like realistic expectations on myself, meaning that I knew I wasn't going to be an astronaut or the president of the United States, but I knew I wanted to be in the veterinary profession at some capacity, right? So I had those realistic expectations on myself, and I always shot to be that technician. I never overshot.
Okay.
I never said I wanted to be the veterinarian. It was always geared towards becoming that technician because that's what I was seeing on TV at an early age.
So let me go. For those who are just listening to this and don't see the video, I encourage you to check out the video. Alex is actually a better looking version of me. We both got the same barber. The beard is actually a bit more pruned than mine. So you might want to check that out. And he has a more of a sexy accent than I do.
With the Australian accent, then the South Florida accent that I got, I would definitely pick the Australian accent for sure.
You reckon? The roles would be reversed if you came to Australia. Everyone would love your accent than mine, obviously. That's all right. So Alex, tell me more about Pet Tree. Is it Pet Tree?
Pet Tree.
Tell me more about that. Where did your concept come from? Tell me everything about that. I'm curious. I'm intrigued because there's a Pet Trio charity and then there's something else.
Clip Trio. I'll get into the Clip Trio part because what laid or gave birth to Pet Trio charity being obviously put together on my mind. So obviously becoming this technician, I put in my 20 years into the profession. 2016, I was getting ready to 2 years old. I saw the writing on the wall. I saw younger, fresher, hungrier technicians coming into the profession. And self-consciously, I always dealt with the fact that I never wanted to be viewed as the old guy in the clinic that couldn't be a doctor. because I never wanted to be a doctor. I was always aspiring to be that technician, but self-consciously, I kind of dealt with that internally myself, right? So 2016, guys, I'm sitting binge watch multiple episodes of this show called Shark Tank that we have here in the US. And to myself, I'm like, man, these people are coming on this show creating products, services, and business, and something they have firsthand knowledge in, like something that they can improve and make better. And I'm sitting there scratching my head thinking, damn, Alex, what in the veterinary profession can be improved and made better and definitely safer, not only for us technicians performing the task, but obviously for the pets that we're treating, right? And I happened to stumble across what I've coined one of the most overlooked aspects in the animal care profession, and that's the nail trimming process in animals. We hate trimming animals' nails, and I'll say it here live. I don't care how much of a skilled trained technician you are. I don't care if you're like a gold star award-winning groomer. You're gonna nip the quick. And once we know that quick is that blood vein that runs in an animal's nail, we have to grab that yellow jar of styptic powder that we hate trying to locate it, first of all, because it's never in the place where we put it. Then we have to yell for our fellow co-workers to bring it to us. We have to crack that jar open, pour its contents on the table, dab our fingers on it. The listeners all know the mess that we go through with this. And I'm sitting there in 2016, I said, no, Alex, this has to change. There has to be a safer, faster, and definitely a hygienic way of applying styptic powder to an animal's injured nail. Little did I know that that idea, that vision, that dream that I had was going to take me on a 4.5-year journey through the patenting process. I secured 2 utility patents on the first ever disposable styptic powdered cartridge that's going to snap onto a pet nail clipper that also has a stainless steel nail file integrated right on the actual handle, virtually making it a 3-in-1 tool. Cut the animal's nail, file the animal's nail. In the event that you make the mistake of nipping that quick, no more jarred styptic powder, no more blood underneath for fingernails. You'll have a small, containable, disposable styptic powder cartridge at the ready. 5 years of going through that process, I even tattooed the name of the brand Clip Trio on my forearm. That's how all in I was, guys. Had to keep my mouth shut to get through that. 2022 was my breakout year, and I was able to openly speak about Clip Trio. I've been on 2 veterinary magazine covers. I won 5 awards in the industry so far, and my product hasn't even came out to market yet. That's how much of a demand and a push that I kind of pummeled it out there to the industry. But while I had all those great things going on, guys, I always knew that I wanted to have a social calling attached to myself and to my brand. And that's what gave birth to Pet Trio Charity. And the reason why the synonymous comes with the trio in everything, both Clip Trio and Pet Trio Charity, is because obviously Clip Trio does 3 things. It cuts the nail and a disposable styptic powder cartridge. Pet Trio Charity, in this case, are the 3 main pillars that I've identified in the veterinary profession or in the animal welfare space, and that's the care aspect. I want to be able to help underserved families have the access to care for their pets if they can't afford it. Meaning, like if they go to a clinic and the treatment is $200 and they only have $100, I want my organization to come in with that supplemental $100 to kind of get that direct care that that patient needs. The support aspect, I want to be able to sponsor spay and neuter clinics, whether it's here in the US or abroad. And the biggest one that I'm generating a lot of attention here in Miami-Dade County currently is the advocacy part, guys. I'm advocating for more vet tech or more vet assisting programs in our public schooling here in Miami-Dade County. I've been fortunate that I speak at 5 vet tech programs here currently in the public schooling. Every time I speak to the students, they hear my story, they see my passion, they see the path that I chose in this profession. It brings a new type of workforce development aspect to these students to where don't be afraid. Don't be shunned down if you think you have to become this veterinarian. No. Look at the route that I chose. Look how I'm still in this profession. I'm still passionate about animals, but more importantly, it's a way of me giving back to my community. And when I plan on, and I'm saying it here, when Clip Trio does debut, whether it's this year or next year, I plan on donating a Clip Trio for every animal that gets adopted from a rescue organization I plan on partnering up with. Because my ultimate goal, guys, is to make sure that even the everyday pet owner can safely learn or bond with the pet during that nail trimming process that we all know we all hate. But the Clip Trio is going to kind of make it as an easier way for the everyday pet owner to kind of bond with their pet through that process.
Oh, that's a lot to process. That's a lot to process. So what you're saying, Alex, is, I heard you say you want to help the gap, but also help spays and neuters. Tell me about the funding process on that.
Yeah, so there's going to be, hopefully with the success of Clip Trio, when that product debuts, a portion of those sales will go into Pet Trio charity for me to be able to send out these initiatives, whether it's a direct care for, underserved or people who can't financially pay for the support for their pets. The advocacy parts, that's obviously me pushing for more vet tech programs in the public schooling here in Miami-Dade County, and those spay and neuter operations. I want to have my hand in that, whether it's through my organization, donating to another organization that's already setting these initiatives. I just want to make sure that I continue to show up for not only my community, but for the profession as a whole, that, hey, look, I was just some guy at 18 years old that had a passion for animals, got into the profession, came and innovated it, and now look at the great things that he's trying to do to give back to his community and to his profession.
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll come back to that. So, Alex, I know that you have a colorful background as to where you came from. I don't know exactly where you came from, but it's not purely American. It's obviously you got some Latino accent going on there. So I want to know more about that. Tell me about your history. Tell me about your upbringing, and what got you into this lovely industry that we'd love to be around. I mean, I have my own reasons where I came into it. Some of it was out of default. My wife is a veterinarian. I just thought, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I didn't realize that I would love the people so much. People ask me, oh, you must love animals. It's actually not the animals that I love, it's the people. It's different for you. Every veterinarian I love animals. Probably a technician is exactly the same. But for me, it was the people. But I'm not a veterinarian, nor am I a technician. So maybe that's probably the reason. But tell me more about who Alex was and where you came from.
Yeah, I'm super happy that you asked that question, because that's me here. And again, I attribute that a lot to my late grandpa. Obviously, first generation Cuban American into this country. My grandpa made a lot of sacrifices in the 70s when he came to the U.S. from Cuba. And he was my main inspiration to get into the profession to begin with. I remember very clearly sharing those times with him. He would sit me in front of the TV. We watched the Animal Planet, the Discovery Channel, Net Geo Wild, all those animal related programs. And that was our bonding time through my childhood that got me into this profession. So I would share those days and nights with him watching that show. And as I got older, I've always kept that same vision of my grandpa and I during those times. And once I saw that show, sharing that with him, I knew that that's exactly what I wanted to do. Obviously, he was in my life up until when I was about 28. Obviously, he passed about 11, 12 years ago, but I'm glad he instilled that in me at a young age, because who knows what path I would have chosen. Unfortunately, I come from an environment down here in South Florida where it's easy to get trapped into this life or into crimes and things like that. But the fact that I kept my head down, and was focused on what I wanted to do at an early age, I attribute that a lot to my grandpa. And I know he's looking down at me now and just proud that I've came so far. I've come so far, and I still got more to grow, more to learn. But the fact that he had that in me, and now he becomes an integral part of my story, because he's truly the one I'm doing this for, and obviously my family, but mainly for my grandpa to know that I continue on with that vision and that dream that I shared with him at a young age.
It's amazing what happens when you have a role model in your life, though, right?
Yeah. Again, my mom, raised two kids on her own. So I look at that. I didn't have my grandpa there as that beacon or that moral compass or that guiding North Star for me. Who knows what path I chose, but the fact that I stayed on path and on purpose, again, is just a further testament that when you're backed by determination, I truly believe you could accomplish anything if you put your mind to it.
So really true, really true. When does Clip Trio launch?
I
mean, you've said that it took 4 years to get to, design phase, finished design phase. You spent the next 2 years after that, I guess, promoting it and getting the word out. So I'm missing 3 years.
This has been, I think at the end of all this, I'm going to write a book. The journey of the star as a simple nail clipper or something simple like that, because it has truly been to this point. Not only was it where I thought I was going to launch, we got hit with the pandemic. Then we got hit with an election season. Then we got hit with everything that's kind of going on up until this point. Then the rise of AI, investors only investing in software technology and anything with the buzzword AI either in front of it, in the middle, or at the end of it, has truly been say that I'm in talks now with hopefully some potential investors to the next steps. I can't mention anything yet because obviously you know how that's got to be all buttoned up. But I'm hoping to either get a debut at Global, rather at Super Zoo this year, or Global Pet Expo beginning of next year. But I'm just fortunate enough that I did all the hard work already. Typically, when products or startups launch, they usually launch and then they start getting the recognitions, award, magazine covers, connections. I literally did it backwards, guys. I literally got the awards, the recognition, the magazine covers, and hopefully now when the product comes out, it's just phone calls and reconnecting with individuals that I kind of have a rapport with already. So it's truly been a learning. Again, I didn't go to college. I didn't get an MBA, but I knew one thing about me. If I wanted to immerse myself in something, if I don't know anything, I will learn about it. I will pick up a book. I'll listen to a podcast. I'll connect with people that are smarter than me so that I can try to absorb as much knowledge as I can to know my product inside and out. And that's really what it is to be an entrepreneur, learning how to pivot, learning when to kind of back down, but not lose that steam, because there's been plenty of days, months, and weeks and years where you kind of look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, the nail clipper, what are you doing? But then I look at myself and I'm like, no, wait, Alex, I got something very, very important here, So that's what kind of kept me waking up, showing up for myself first, and just showing up that I'm going to prevail and I'm going to be successful at this, because at the end of the day, I tattooed it on my forearm. This isn't going away. So I would literally have to stare at regret for the rest of my life. But I'm just super happy in this position now that I'm on point to, hopefully get Clip Trio out to the market this year.
That's good. Would we see you at expos in the probably WVC or like Vidicus or something like that?
Obviously, it's to debut all these pet expos, as many as I can. And the most that I would love to debut at would be the Super Zoo. There's a lot of international eyes there. They have a lot of like start and emerging brands, competitions, and things like that. And honestly, me being the competitor that I am, because at the end of the day, business is a competition. I looked at, let's say, 4 or 5 years of what innovation was coming to the pet space. I don't know how many to invent a dog bowl or a kitty litter. I don't know how many of the same AI medical notes we're gonna have. But I just truly get out there already and just prove to the industry that I got the most simplest thing, and it's gonna be the most innovative thing, whether it's got 2025 year or 2026. I'm looking forward to doing it and just see how everybody responds to it, especially knowing that it came from a fellow veterinary technician.
I'm hanging shit here, but shall we rename it Clip Trio AI just so we can get more investors in there for you?
I thought about that so many times that, you know what? I'm just going to throw the buzzword AI on there and just see what happens. But I spoken to a lot of individuals on the investing space, whether they're angels or VC people, and easier and a safer investment in a software, because all you got to do is put a line of code and it changes everything, whether it's today or tomorrow versus a production item, lead times and things like that. But again, I won't let that kind of shut me down, because, I know how to stay in my lane and stay in my niche, because at the end of the day, we're still going to have to trim pet nails, regardless if it's in the US or internationally. And I don't see a laser beam coming in the next 30 years is going to change that. It's always going to be human force to set on that treatment, do that nurturement process.
Huh. I mean, look, I haven't heard of Pet Clip Trio. And, when you reached out, I was like, it sounds amazing. I would love to know more. So, having you on is going to be great. So, but you have demos, you have something on YouTube, right?
Yeah, obviously on YouTube, but me using the Clip Trio product, obviously it's been tested last 4.5 years. I used it on, or rather, veterinarians used it, veterinarians that I worked with, technicians, groomers, everyday pet owners, all came back with positive feedback, because ultimately that's the information or the data points that I used when I went into the engineering part of creating the product, the CAD designs and things like that. So been tested, it's been vetted. As I mentioned, I won the awards on it. This is just a matter of an investor coming, looking what I got going on, writing me a check, and just letting me get to work and just do what I do best. And that's going to be the face of Clip Trio and Pet Trio Charity.
Where can people find you, Alex?
The website, cliptrio.com. That's KLIPTRIO.com. They can find me on LinkedIn under Alexander Contreras. And obviously social medias, TikTok as well under Clip Trio, and pettriocharity.org. That's the philanthropy arm. That great developments going on that side. Something that I wanted to share with you and obviously your listeners. I'm on the cusp now of introducing. So here in Miami-Dade County, we have something called the animal services. That's the community side of, access to care, low cost vaccines, spays and neuters.
Yep.
So they have this trailer called the Wowmobile, the Wellness on Wheels. And they park this trailer typically in underserved areas throughout Miami-Dade County to offer free vaccines, spays and neuters for the surrounding community. But these are in communities, whether it's a parking lot or like an auto zone or something like that. I'm in touch with these folks now to bring that same trailer, but start parking them at vet tech programs in the public schooling system throughout Miami-Dade County. And the 5 schools that I've already located and identified, the first one that I want to do this at is my hometown, Homestead. We have the vet tech program here. They have a brand new state-of-the-art, fully functioning hospital and classroom setting. It's just super underutilized. So I'm connecting with commissioners, board members to see if we can get animal services to start parking these trailers there, because not only are we giving the new workforce development that ability to immerse themselves in this, whether they take field trips or for the students that are there, but we're addressing that community need, that public health concern of letting the everyday pet owner know the importance of vaccines, preventatives, zoonotic diseases, and things of that sort. So I'm hoping to kind of put this plan together again to just further show that a veterinary technician down here in South Florida is spearheading some great initiatives down here. And I think more eyeballs need to be put on me, because if more eyeballs are put on me, more eyeballs are put on the profession as a whole, to, again, dovetail back to my story in the beginning, that us technicians or assistants, we're not just that. We're these innovators, we're these entrepreneurs, we're these philanthropists, and we're these forward-thinking professionals in the industry.
So you can be more than just a vet tech is your message.
You can be more than just a vet tech. And I'm a prime example of it. Again, I'm no different than anyone on this planet. I brush my teeth the same. I put my shoes on the same. I wipe my behind the same. I'm no better than anybody. I just happen to be backed by passion and determination to fulfill a vision that I had for myself at a young age.
That's cool. It's amazing what happens when you have, I don't want to use the cliche of a dream, but when you have a passion and some drive, it's amazing what we can do.
Passion and drive and a good support system around me. I lost a lot of people who either didn't believe in me, didn't believe in what I got going on. And the fact that people stayed committed to me, whether it's my family or close friends for this long, it just further gave me that added push that I needed at times when I had the self-doubt. So I'm just super thankful to be in this position, to hopefully give back not only the profession, but to my family, and let them know, like, hey, look, my grandpa had this vision set out for me. He singled me out of all the grandkids. The other grandkids didn't listen. I did. And hopefully this will be that story that kind of changes my family tree and just cement us again as the first generation Cuban into this country, that the opportunities are boundless if you just apply yourself, and you do things correctly, and you don't F nobody over, and you just do your things well.
I love what you're doing, and I can't wait to see what else you do and how you launch.
And again, thank you for the time, the opportunity, just again, to share my story and just be a beacon of hope out there to the profession that, hey, man, I'm just a regular dude. I'm trying to just leave the industry better than when I got it. That's all. Leave it better than when I got it, and just leave it for the next generation of students or the professionals to figure out what they can innovate and what they can make better.
That's cool. That's cool. Mate, Alex, I'll put in all your links and where people can find you in the show notes. But I really do appreciate you coming on the show, telling about your story, telling us about Clip Trio. It's an amazing product. Guys, if you haven't seen it already, go to the show notes, check Alex out, and check Clip Trio out. Thank you so much, Alex. And thanks for joining us today. That's all we have time for. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have a story that you would love to share and want to come on the show, drop me an email, Rhys at ivmsolutions.org. This podcast was brought to you by IVMS, Innovative Veterinary Management Solutions. If you are tired of being a business operator and want to be a business owner, then give me a call. If you've heard of systems like Traction, EOS, Lean, 4DX, and other similar systems, they're all great systems, but none are vet specific. I have taken the best of every system, rebuilt them using our industry KPI standards and your practice core metrics, because every practice is different. I will bring your vision to life. Get your team bought in and aligned to your long-term goals. I will systemize your practice so you can have more time doing what you love to do. Stop having people rely on you. Practice ownership should not be this hard. Let's move from being a business operator and move into the business owner category. If this interests you, go to my website, www.ivmsolutions.org. Until next time, take care.